Hey guys, welcome to KidCast. We are the Metzger Nation. We're the Metzger family. We live outside of Charlotte, North Carolina in the country. And so if our connection kind of goes out, just stick with us and it usually comes back on. So just stick with us, and if it gets fuzzy, it should correct itself. So like I said, we're the Metzger Nation. We have 12 kids, ages 24 down to almost 5 months. And we homeschool, and we live on a good piece of acreage here, so we have lots of fun doing that. If you guys have not liked the KidsCast page, be sure to do that, and also be sure to find our family on Facebook on the Metzger Nation page, and like our page as well. And you can kind of follow along with our family on how we do homeschooling, how we operate our own businesses. Mine is my home business, and how we homeschool and just have fun as a large family. So we hope to see you there, and we hope that you will like both those pages. So today, I just want to talk a little bit about children and chores, or chore training, or character training. Different people will call it different things. And I kind of want to tell you how our family does things. So our family gets asked this question a lot. Shouldn't kids just be kids? Shouldn't they just run around and have fun and not have responsibility? You know, it's the one time in their life where they can just be themselves and have fun. Hey, Kimberly. And the answer to that question is kids can still be kids and have responsibility. Responsibility is something that is so super important. Kids actually enjoy having responsibility and being counted on in their family. If you notice, when you have, when you're doing some kind of a family project together, or maybe a chore, or just something you do on a regular basis, what does the little toddler do when they're watching their parents or their older siblings doing something? They want to participate, right? So they, in wanting to participate, they're wanting to help out. They're wanting to feel needed. They're wanting to feel like they're a part of the family, an integral part, a needed part of the family. So don't we, and when it comes down to it, don't we all want to be needed? Don't we all want to feel like we have some call in our lives, some responsibility in our lives, that we can achieve goals successfully? You know, and that's the same thing with kids. They want to feel needed. They want to feel like they're, that they have this responsibility that they can participate in. So I think that's very important. So can they still be kids and have that responsibility? Of course they can. It's just all about balance. Our family is all about balance. So, you know, when we look at leaders and successful people, are we wanting to have our children grow up to be strong leaders in our community and in our society? Or are we wanting them to follow other people? We're wanting them to be strong and to be leaders, correct? Okay, well, so many times, you know, we look, and our family follows the Bible. We look in that, we look at how hard work and working with our hands and having good work ethic creates strong leaders. And so that's one reason why chores are important. We want to have our children to be successful in life and to be those strong leaders. So character training, chores helps to do just that. So another thing is, when we all participate in our chores, we create a sense of orderliness in our homes, and orderliness actually brings about peace. Because if we're having that peace, you know, in the household, our whole joy level goes up, right? So we want to have that peace in our house, and orderliness does that. Chores help to produce orderliness. And then we have a more productive home. When we have a more productive home, we have free time that allows us, our family does ministry, family ministry. So family ministry, you can do a home business. I operate a home business. I have 12 kids, I homeschool them. I still find time to run a business. Hey, Jamie. We are from Charlotte, North Carolina, so a long way away from Spokane, Washington. It also provides for more time to do more extracurricular activities. You know, everybody says they don't have enough time in a day, but the reality is we all have 24 hours in every day. It's just how we order our day and how we arrange to get things done that allows us either more time or drains us of our time. So we want to make sure that we have a sense of orderliness in our house, and chores can help to that. So the bottom line is chores. Hey, Lindsay, good to see you. Hey, Jessica, thanks for joining us. Orderliness actually helps us to have more life. in our house. So chores help to do that. So as you can see, there's lots of pros to having a chore system. So what you want to do is once you decide that your children should have chores and responsibilities in your household, you want to create a system. A system would mean you want to follow a regular schedule. So you want to sit down maybe with your husband or even your older kids and sit down and develop a system. When is a good time to do this chore? You know, obviously you wouldn't want to go out and bathe the dog on a very cold morning. You might want to wait until the sunny part of the afternoon. So schedule, oh, from the Philippines. Wow, long way away. So you want to schedule your day so that it makes sense. So that it makes sense with your other schedules, so that it makes sense also with maybe the weather outside or the time of day or the other activities you have going on. So, excuse me, follow a regular schedule. Also, you want to adapt that schedule to your life. Don't fit in life around chores. Fit in the chores around your life, but stick to that plan. If you do that, then the whole household will operate smoother. Now, there's some people often ask me, well, what should I have my 2-year-old do? I'm really big into having age-appropriate chores, meaning that I'm not going to tell my 2-year-old to go out and wash and wax the car, because that would be too much, right? So I don't want to weigh them down with something that they are not capable of doing. So I want to give them little things. And so I follow this chore chart, and I'll try to put it up on the Metzger Nation page afterwards so you guys can see it. It's a really long list, and it starts as young as 9 months old. And that doesn't mean that the 9-month-old is necessarily going to help you in your day-to-day, but it means that you're starting to train them to be responsible and to enjoy working hard, because that really is, should be a joyful part of our lives, is working hard. It develops a good work ethic, and you start young. So you would start as soon as they're, for us, we start about when they're toddlers, when they're able to help and they feel satisfaction for helping, and you can make them feel satisfied in how they are able to help. So 9 to 24 months old, they can put dirty clothes in a hamper. You can turn it, you can say to them, can you go put this in a hamper? And then they would know where to put the clothes, and they learn over time. Is it more work for you initially? Yes. But it pays off in the long run, and when you see those kids graduate and go on in life, we have some older kids, one's getting ready to graduate. We are in North Carolina, outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So when our kids get ready to graduate, we have one that's getting ready to graduate, a couple right below her, and then we have one that's already graduated. When you get to see them go off in the life and to be these successful people, it really comes down to how did you train them, and chores are a great way of doing that. So 9 to 24 months old, putting away dirty clothes in a hamper, helping with grocery shopping. They can put items in the basket, learn to put them on a counter. But the point is, you're developing their heart. You want to train their heart to want to serve, to want to help out, to contribute to the family, and then therefore, when they're older, they'll contribute to society and to their community. They can even help with yard work, collecting trash, picking up sticks, rocks, things like that. Simple errands. Can you bring that diaper to mommy, please? For the baby, and they can do that. You're just training them, and it starts young. And a lot of you might be already doing that, and you didn't even realize that you were doing chore and character training. But it really does. It starts young. So let's see, 3 to 4 years old, they should be learning how to make their bed, keeping their room neat, picking up after a day of playing with toys. Simple hygiene can be taken at that point. Helping to wash the car. Hey, you know what? Put them on the bottom panels of the car. They can do some scrubbing. Teach them how to do that. So basically, you're just looking at their age and seeing what is appropriate for them to take on as far as chores go. And then you're giving them the opportunity to do so. You're encouraging them as they're doing the chore and saying, that is a great job. And you're developing strong leaders and service-oriented young adults eventually. You'll be graduating them off into young adults. So let's see. Okay, so when you're creating a system, there's different ways that you can do it. Our family hangs up our schedule. My husband created our chore list, our family's chore list, in an Excel document, and this gets hung up or it's put in a drawer to where the kids can see it easily. But another system that we've used in the past is 3x5 cards, where they just have their cards that are allotted for that day and their chore system and what they're supposed to be doing for the day, and they go through them and accomplish them throughout the day. So there's so many different ways that you can have a system for your children seeing what they should be doing and having that hands-on, tangible, visual maybe, that will help them to complete their chores. And even little tiny toddlers can have it. You can draw a picture of their chore or show a picture of a chore or something like that, and they'll know what to do. And then they learn to operate by a schedule. I'm a very scheduled person. With 12 kids, you kind of have to be, but I'm kind of naturally scheduled that way. So I really like using a planner or something like that. My calendar on my cell phone is called Jort, Jorte. I love that app because I'm able to schedule things throughout my day, not just our outside activities, but also what we're doing within the house. And so in doing that and having that 3x5 cards or whatever your system might be, oh good, thank you for sharing. Whatever that system might be, you want to have something visual for them to be able to see, so that you're training them to operate by some sort of schedule, because that's going to be required in life. When they go off and they get their job, they're going to have to go by a schedule, and this is great life training, great life schooling, as we like to call it here, since we homeschool. Rocky Mount, not too far away. Hey, how are you? Okay, so let's see what else I have here. Okay, my biggest thing that I like to mention when I'm talking about chores is, moms, you know what? We need to inspect what we expect. So if we place expectations on our children, we should inspect their work to make sure that they're operating in that, oh wow, there's 2 people from the Philippines, I think, in Baltimore and Philadelphia. Oh, that's awesome. Hey guys, thank you for joining. Yeah, you want to inspect what you expect. Because if you tell your kids to do X, Y, and Z, and you never go and make sure that they did X, Y, and Z, they're probably not going to be likely to do that the next time you ask them to do something, or the next time you tell them that something's required of them. So if you inspect what you expect, that's really gonna help. So one other thing I forgot to mention too, with the age-appropriate chores, age is always factored into our requirements for our kids, because we don't want to overwhelm them. We don't want to over-expect of them, but we also don't want to set the bar too low. If they're capable of here, we don't want to set the bar here. We want to help them to achieve maximum amount of their potential. So I don't expect my 2-year-old to go wipe down the table and it be the same way I would wipe down the table, but I'm teaching them how to correctly, hey guys, how to correctly wipe down the table. And I'm expecting a certain level, but obviously not to the level that I would wipe a table down, right? So I just expect their best effort to be put into it. Okay, so our family, I mentioned our little Excel document here that my husband made, and we do pay for our extra above and beyond chores. We do have a reasoning for this, and in this column we have what they're paid for what chores, and each child has a different square of chores to do. And we start paying them, we'll pay them like pretend money, because obviously they're not going to spend money at 2 years old. We'll give them a little, paper money or whatever, and we'll kind of give them that as an incentive, because they don't really understand the value of money, but they like getting what their siblings are getting. So we'll start off with little paper pretend money to pay them for their chores, and then we'll kind of work our way up, probably around 3 years old, to giving them a little bit of money so that they have some spending money when we go out to our curriculum fairs, our book fairs with our homeschooling, and they get their own spending money. Or if we go out to eat, they'll spend their money on going out to eat or something special like that. So we do pay for our chores. Now, why do we do that? Okay, well, our family is all about capitalism. And if we look at the opposite of capitalism, we're looking at socialism. Socialism would be equal in this subject matter to having allowance. It's kind of entitlement. They're paid to just exist. We're giving them an allowance just because they're here and they're a part of our family. That's not how it works in real life. We have to actually work. Okay, I'm going to read this really quick. Oh, somebody's speaking in a different language, and I'm sorry, I can't understand that. So thank you for joining us, though. So socialism is allowance. We're paying them for their existence. They're entitled to that allowance. But capitalism is where they're rewarded for their effort. Now, does that mean we pay for every little thing, to where our kids just sit around and won't do anything unless we throw money at them? No. Our kids are expected to keep up with their regular chores, such as personal hygiene, making their bed, cleaning their room, things like that. Helping when we've asked them to help, things like that. But they are not given a regular chore that's above and beyond that without receiving some form of compensation. Sometimes if it's a special project, for instance, we just painted 2 bedrooms of our house, and the older kids, is she being silly? Who, is that Ellie? Ellie walking behind, Julia's right here. They crack me up. So what was I saying? Caitlin? I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Oh, okay, we had a painting project, and we painted 2 bedrooms in our house. So the way that we compensated them for their help and their work in that was we took them out to Mexican dinner last night before we went to our Bible study that night. So that was really fun. That was cool. And we paid for it. So we paid them, we compensated them for their above and beyond work. But they're not paid for their regular chores. So they're paid in measure of their own individual responsibility. We do not remind them to do chores on a regular basis. Now, as we're training them to take on a regular responsibility of a chore, we might say, have you vacuumed the stairs? Did you vacuum the stairs today? But regularly speaking, especially for our older ones, we are not going to remind them to do their chores. Because how is that helping out the family if we're constantly overlooking everybody's efforts? How many children do we have? We have 12 children, 3 are adopted. They're aged 24 years old down to 5 months old. So we have 12 kiddos. We have 6 boys, 6 girls. So we like to say 6 of one, half dozen of another. So again, we don't remind them to do their chores. We don't allow for slacking. If we tell them, your chore is to wipe down the counter after dinner, and then they're done, they're not going to get paid for that, because in real life, as they're going out into the world and they're having their job, they're not going to get paid for a mediocre job. And if they do get paid, they're not going to get paid for long. They're going to get fired, and someone else is going to get hired in their place. So we want to teach them that real life principle of, if you are going to do a job, do it well. Oh, that's awesome. So another adopted mom on here. That's awesome, Christina. I'm so glad to meet you. That's awesome. So another thing that we do is if they slack off on a chore regularly, if they're wiping down the counter haphazardly, we're going to penalize them, and they will not only will they not get paid for that chore, the first 2 weeks they just won't get paid. But if it goes on into a 3rd week, they're actually going to pay my husband for that chore and still do the chore, and we're going to make them go over until they get it right. And I'll tell you, that cuts back. They will not keep that up for very long, because they see how that's taking away from their personal reserve. So I have 4. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, you know what? Any mom is busy. Whether you have 1 child or whether you have 12, we're all busy, right? So yeah, they're penalized money for consistent slacking off or consistent reminding. Now, one thing that our family emphasizes is apprenticeship. I think I've told you guys in former episodes that I love to teach my kids how to teach, because so many people in this world grow up and they don't know how to pass on their skill set to another person. They don't know how to pass on what they know to the next person. And that's pretty sad, because eventually that means that their skill set is going to end because they didn't pass it on to the next generation. So I want to teach my kids how to teach, whether that be in homeschooling, whether that be in chores. So in chores, we have apprenticeship. Like I said before, our kids have chores as soon as they can toddle around. And when they age out of that chore, when they're not really into doing a lower end chore, they will pass it on to the younger sibling. And obviously we have enough that we can pass down for quite some time. So one thing that we've done when we passed along that teaching is that we followed the Hebrew method. And no, we're not Hebrew, we're not Jewish, but we pass on the Hebrew method of teaching in our family. So, I'm glad this is helping you guys. So the Hebrew method of teaching is really quite simple. It's very, very simple, but it's a great way to teach any skill set. So what they do is they teach, then they do it while the student watches, then the teacher and the student do it together, and then the student performs the task while the teacher assesses from a distance and guides them. So that's what we do here is the older Facebook page. Yes, we have the Metzger Nation Facebook page. We do not have a YouTube channel, although people are telling us to get one. So eventually maybe we will. So watch your finger, Ethan. Okay, See some of your boys. Okay, I'm trying to read the comments. There's stuff popping up in front of it. Aw, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Hola. Hey, our kids are learning Spanish too. So they've been practicing. They need to practice their Spanish sometimes. That's awesome. See, she said hola. That's awesome. Yay. Hey, Marla. So basically, that's how we do it, is the Hebrew method of teaching to the next sibling down. So the younger sibling becomes the apprentice, the older becomes the teacher. The younger child then watches the chore before attempting. The older child or mom will watch the younger child do that chore, and then eventually that younger child graduates into taking over that chore. Hey Sandra, good to see you on here. So something that is a tendency for our more type A personality children is to boss around. We don't allow that. I'm always going to be on top of them, bossing another sibling. That is not allowed in our house. We're not going to boss. The name of our Facebook page is actually in the title of this video. It's Metzger Nation. It's our last name, M-E-T-Z-G-E-R Nation. And that's our Facebook page. So yeah, no bossing. So what happens if a child doesn't complete their chore? I told you a little bit about the financial aspect of it, but you know what? Sometimes we just don't have the finances as parents, and that's fine. There's so many different ways that you can provide consequences. Hey, consequences for not having chores done. So they need to be age-appropriate consequences. Something that they enjoy needs to be taken away. Maybe a misprivileged TV time, computer time, playtime. Maybe you confiscate a specific toy that they're really attached to. But consequences are super important, because without consequences, like in real life, if we have a consequence for not completing our job on a work site, we're going to get fired. That's our consequence, and that's a pretty severe consequence. So wouldn't we rather our kids learn it at a younger age, learn that life comes with consequences when we don't see through with something. So the confiscation of toys, maybe they missed dessert that night. Is that hard for you to do as a parent? Absolutely. And I tell my kids this all the time. Trust me, this is not fun for mommy to take away privileges, to dole out consequences, but it's necessary so that you don't end up being fired from a job that you worked hard to get because you didn't learn these principles early on. So it's really important. Consistency is also key. Our kids know that my husband and I, we mean business. If we say that if A doesn't get done, you're going to get this consequence. They know that we mean that and that we're going to follow through. And consistency is key in every area of life. Consequence, following through in that way, key to every area of life. So a lot of people ask us too, well, I didn't do chore training when my kids were little. I only have older kids now. Is it too late to start? No, it's never too late to start. What I would suggest is getting a family meeting. You're going to establish ground rules. So after your husband and you have decided what chores are going to be required for what child, you have a family meeting. You communicate effectively what is expected of them. None of us can do anything in life without knowing what is expected of us. So you want to effectively communicate that. A family meeting, a sit-down family meeting is a good way to do that. Do we allow tablets, computers, and devices, and is there a time limit? We do. Most of our online time is done for schoolwork, but we do allow for, what's that game you play? Oh, Axis and Allies? Is that an online game?
No, it's not online.
Oh, it's just a regular game? Okay, so Axis and Allies, it's a strategy, war strategy game that our older boys play. And we allow half-hour time limits on that when we go out on date night. My husband and I go out on date night. So yeah, we do have electronics, but they're minimal, and our kids do not have a phone until they're ready to drive. And then they have the phone, and I actually have an app on the phone. It's called Custodio, Q-U-S-T-U-D-I-O. I'll put it on our Metzger Nation page, but it's a great way to filter out what your kids are seeing online, whether it be on their phone, whether it be on their computer, their iPad, whatever. It controls any electronic device. It filters what they see, and it also monitors so that you're, and you can have their phone shut down at a certain time. You can locate them if they're out driving where they are. It's an awesome app. It really protects your child, and it also sets those time limits. So I will put that on our Metzger Nation page too. Kids, remind me, because I'll forget. Yeah, no phone until driving. It's just too much of a distraction, honestly, and it's really not needed. I mean, you have that huge expense of a phone. It's not needed until you can earn some money to pay for it. things like that. I mean, if it's not needed, why get it? So it's just a distraction. Okay, so another thing with chore training, older kids, have that family meeting to establish the ground rules, establish your expectations, your consequences for not completing that. And also, our kids, our girls, get a hope chest or something similar when they turn 16. A hope chest is, for those of you who don't know, is like a big old-fashioned piece of furniture. Well, they have modern ones too, but we have some antique ones in the house. And they put in there what they're going to use in their house when they grow up. And so another thing that they are putting in that hope chest, whether they realize it or not, are skill sets, are tools. So they're learning how to cook meals, how to clean a house, how to manage a household, how to homeschool kids, how to teach anything to a younger person or another person who isn't aware of that. And they're putting that skill set in their hope chest. And for boys, obviously it's not a hope chest. What could you call it? A tool chest. There you go. Put it in a tool chest. So I'm going to scroll up and see there was one more comment up here. Yeah, exactly. We survived with cell phones without, not growing up. In fact, I survived part of my adulthood without a cell phone, and I kind of wonder how I did that, but it is possible. So, okay, another thing is chores allow me to find the nooks and crannies in my day. Nooks and crannies are the little teeny spaces in your day. Yes, we do homeschool. I find the nooks and crannies in my day to fit in my home business. I run a business from my home, and I use a planner, and I jot down the things that I need to do, and when I have a minute or two, I go to that planner, and I do whatever that might be, whether that be contacting a customer or contacting someone who's interested in the products I sell or making a team video. I'm finding the nooks and crannies in my day while the child's vacuuming the stairs, while the other child's raking. If we have a designated chore time in the afternoon, I'm able to knock out 2 or 3 things on my list. And that can apply to pretty much anything, but I'm able to do it with my home business and have a successful home business at that. So that's really important. So, yes, it is the only way for a large family that we can operate with that chore system. So I actually a homeschool episode on KidsCast. So if you kind of look through the KidCast page and look for our homeschool one, I actually went over some of our curriculum for that. But if you want to message me privately on our Metzger Nation page, I'd be glad to spell out, like if you have a child in 5th grade, I'd be glad to let you know what we use for 5th grade. We use a wide array of homeschooling stuff. So we're very eclectic in what we use, and we do a lot of life schooling, which means hands-on, practical homeschooling that can be used in all aspects of education. So if you have a specific question, do feel free to contact me on that page. My business, I am a Plexus Worldwide ambassador. So yeah, feel free to contact me about that as well. Okay, we're going to go over some of the Metzger chores. So Ethan, if you want to, okay, awesome. Well, Zia, can you message me on the Metzger Nation page, and I will be glad to share what we use for our 3rd grade. Okay, so Metzgers. Let's see. I'm going to start with Annalise, who has a sleeping little Aiden on her shoulder. Annalise and Caitlin, come hither. So Annalise and Caitlin, you want to tell what your chores are in this house?
Yeah. For Annalise and I are in charge of meal planning for dinner, and Ethan and Trey and Jake will do the breakfast and lunch preparations, and they've planned for that as well. And then Annalise and I can oversee them during the day.
Yeah, so basically meal prep for dinner, meal cleanup, meal planning. So I often joke with them that when they get married, they're going to have just them and their husband, and they're going to cook a meal for 14 people, and they're going to have leftovers for like a month. So yeah, they are very good at managing that, and have a large repertoire of recipes and stuff, and they're good at multiplying the recipes so that all of our family gets to eat. But eventually they're going to teach that to a younger skill set, hopefully sooner rather than later, so that each one of our children grows up and knows how to run a kitchen and how to cook. Because, you might think, well, boys are going to have some girl cook for them at some point in their life. They might not. And even if they do, I know us moms love when our husbands, if our husbands cook, to have them step in every now and again. It's nice. So I want all of my children to leave this house knowing how to do that. So that's super important for our family. Okay, Ethan, you want to step forward, and then you can kind of move the camera so we can kind of go around. Ethan's 16.
So, right now I'm going to talk about one of my chores, which is sweeping. And I use this broom, which gets a lot of dust and other...
Dog hair.
Yeah, dog hair and a lot of small stuff. It will get anything that a normal broom wouldn't. And then I use a dustpan, which, wait a second. And then I use this dustpan, which both of these we got at Sam's.
Yeah, this has the little sweeper and the little thing attached. It was at Sam's Club. I think it was like $16 or something like that, $16 a while back.
And we got them both at Sam's to, this is, I used to sweep up all the dust from this, and that's one of my chores.
Yeah, and so that's we have mostly hardwoods in our house. We have 12 children. Hey, from Uganda, Africa, awesome. So we have a lot of hardwood floors in our house, and we have 2 dogs, 2 golden retrievers, and they shed something awful. And so if we go even just half a day without, sweeping up their hair, we end up with huge dust bunnies and small animals in corners. So that's a really important job, and it's something that Ethan does for us, so that's awesome. He also empties trash and cleans the hall bathroom, which is the boys' bathroom, and also our guest bathroom. So, and he oversees that and makes sure that all the boys underneath him do the same, so all the boys share that chore. Let's see, Trey. Okay, little background. My dad had a stroke. It'll be 1 year ago tomorrow. And after his stroke and after his rehabilitation, which was months, they came to live with us. And they stayed in our nursery while we finished out another building on our house, another house structure that we finished out. And then they moved in there. And so one of Trey's chores is in regards to my parents and honoring them, taking care of them. So Trey, you want to explain your chores?
Sure.
And Trey is 15.
Down at the river house, I mop and, first I sweep the floor. Then I mop all of them with this special type of mop. I really like it. And I also clean the counters and sweep the porches too. And usually after the counters just gets a little dirty, so I have to clean those.
Yeah, so he really serves my parents in that capacity and just kind of helping them around the house, because my mother actually had a heart attack 3 weeks ago. She's had 2 since then. She's not looking good. It looks like she's going to go into hospice care, so she's in the hospital right now. So we've really had a lot of trials health-wise with our family, but our kids have been able to serve them in various capacities, and it's really been a blessing to be able to give back to my parents after they've given to me and my brother over so many years. And one of the ways we do that is incorporating our chores into helping them out. Hey, from Norway, awesome. Our kids do not go to public school. One is getting ready to graduate in May, and we've already graduated one, and they graduate right out of our homeschool. If you have any high school homeschool questions, feel free to contact me on my Facebook page, Metzger Nation. And guys, also remember to like the KidCast page. Okay, so let's see, Jake, what is your chore that you're going to talk about today?
Well, I clean the hall bathroom with Ethan and Trey and Judah. And I take out the chicken food, which is over there on the counter. We normally
Come back and talk about it. You can grab it and come back so they can hear.
We normally put all the scraps or old food inside here that can go to the chickens to feed them, and we also have bags of chicken food. But it's my job to feed the chickens all this type of stuff. And I clean up the sticks and the rocks that are in the backyard and the other yard so that the lawnmower can go through without getting ruined. And I used to clean the bus, but no one does that. So that's.
What about meal prep?
I help Ethan and try making lunch with that.
Yeah, so he's learning how to make lunch. So, oh, awesome, team mops, that's great. The importance of social skills, absolutely. I was homeschooled growing up, so I hope you can tell that I'm not socially awkward. I was homeschooled and graduated as a homeschooler and went on to to college. They do go to church Bible study. And my brother was homeschooled, graduated as a homeschooler, and went on to West Point. So West Point is a very hard school to get into. It's a U.S. military academy. And so in order to be accepted there, you have to have a certain set of community service, of social skills, and things like that. You have to be appointed to there by congressmen and women. So the beauty about homeschooling is that we are socialized not just horizontally with our peer group, but we're socialized vertically, meaning that we associate from little tiny kids way up to elderly adults like my parents. So, and our elderly neighbors and things like that. So we're learning how to really real life socialize with all different age groups. And then of course they have all their extracurricular activities and things like that. In our church we're very involved in. So yeah, socialization used to be an issue of the past, but I think that after my generation graduated and kind of showed the world that we weren't the socially awkward people that people had imagined, I think we kind of debunked that idea a little bit. But yeah, it comes up now and again. People are concerned about that. But feel free, if you have any questions about that, to message me on the Metzger Nation page. Okay, so Julia, you want to tell us a little bit? And Ethan, you might want to take this off and kind of point down there. Oh, awesome. Yes, homeschooling is the best. Love it. Okay, so Julia, how old are you?
I'm 11.
11. And what do you and Ellie take care of?
Me and Ellie take care of mopping the hardwood floors once each week.
And the bathroom floors.
And the bathroom floors, yes.
And what kind of a mop do you use?
We use a steam mop.
Like that. Judah, you want to back up, Judah, so we can see? Okay, so they use a steam mop, and the thing I like about steam mops is that it really gets the grime off the floor. I love steam mops. I've been through a lot of them. This one is Bissell. I think I like the Bissell brand the best. And how do you work it?
Well, once we put, we take this first out, and then we pour some of the distilled water in. And it takes 30 seconds for you to be able to press one of these buttons, and you can pick which level of steam you want. To press this, it can go higher and lower or whatever. And then that's really good. And this is to get other things that are too hard for this part of the mop to get off.
So it scrubs little dirt off the floor too. And we use those rags. Can you show the rags? Instead of the store-bought pads that are come with the mop, they're so much more expensive. We buy a bulk amount of these rags at Sam's Club or Costco. And then we rubber band them on, and they work just as well. Throw them in the washer with our rag lid, and that is that. So, and Ellie, who's 9, helps her out with mopping as well. So Ellie, what is your job? You want to turn it this way to Ellie?
I do the windows.
Windows and doors, computer screens, TV screens, and the little glass on our pieces of furniture, whatever furniture has glass on it. So, yeah, she works really hard at cleaning the windows. So she's going to clean my window as we do this. And Judah, you want to tell what you do and tell how old you are?
I'm 8, and I usually do the doorknobs and light switches, which with ammonia and paper towels. And then,
and what does that help to keep down? Why do we clean doorknobs and light switches?
Look at when they're dirty and when people are using them.
Yeah, and if we get germs on them, then we can pass on sicknesses. So that helps to cut down on our sicknesses, right? So you help to keep our family healthy.
And then after that I do vacuum stairs. I vacuum the stairs. My vacuum's over there.
Oh, he's going to go get his vacuum. You can follow him.
Stay here.
You can follow him.
This is what I use for vacuuming stairs. Like when you pull out this, and it's easy to put it back in because you click this, and it goes back in. That.
Yeah.
And, another chore I have is doing the whole bathroom with Jake and Ethan. And Trey.
Yeah, so he does those chores, and that really helps to keep our household running smoothly. If you look, our stairs over there, I can't get my finger right on the camera, but over there, our stairs are carpeted. So he just does those L-shaped stairs twice a week, and that helps to keep everything. Handle arguments between siblings. That sounds like a good one. I might answer that on the Go Panthers. Oh, microfiber. Somebody asked about microfiber mopping pads. No, we actually just use, I think it's like mechanic rags or things like that we just use for that. So you could use microfiber, but those work just as well for our house. And since we mop once a week and we have a no shoe policy in the house, it kind of makes it easy. So I'm going to scroll down. There's been another comment. How many square feet does he clean? It's just that stairway is what he vacuums. So it's like an L-shaped stairway that goes up to our playroom and some bedrooms upstairs. So handling arguments, yeah, that's a complicated matter, but something we all need to know, right? So maybe I'll do something like that, address that on Metzger Nation, or maybe in a future episode on KidCast. That's a great idea. Yes, no shoes. Yeah, it cuts down on dirt significantly. Of course, we don't require that company take them off, but for our family, we take them off. It's just easier. So Eva and Emmy are our 6 and 4-year-olds, and they, their chores are taking a wet rag, the same kind of rags we use for mopping the floors, that same type, and they clean our cabinets because our island, you want to show our island? It's a 14-foot long island, which I love, love, love. Great for our size of family, but they clean that whole thing, all the base of it, the wood base, because things drip down it and it just gets nasty really fast. So they clean that, they clean baseboards, they scrub some walls where the kids get their hands down, so they help to clean that area of the house. And they feel responsible in doing that, and they get paid for that. And then, so they're actually over there doing that. They want to show, so I'll take you over there to feed them. Good job, girls. So yeah, that's what they do. They clean the bottom of that island and the other cabinets so that we can continue to have that clean area there, and it doesn't get too grimy and yucky, and we don't have to rush and clean up before we have company come to stay or whatever. So how many square feet we have in our home? It's 5,000 square feet, but we have lived in smaller. We've lived here 3 years. Before that was 3,900. Before that was 1,900. So yeah, we've lived in all different size houses, but this one is our final house, our end house, so our dream house. So and then Aiden is our next one down. He is 20 months. He fell asleep on Annalise earlier. I think you guys saw him, but he is learning to help with things. Like we might just have him assist with something, but yeah, our phone is ringing in the background. So anyway, that's the Metzger's chores. And let me see what else I was going to do. Okay, something I want to tell you moms, because I know that all you moms probably get panicked and might just think, you know what, all I'm doing is cleaning up constantly. All I'm doing is cleaning up, and it becomes overwhelming with you know, looking at all the work we put into something and then watching it get messed up, because you know what, that's just life, right? That's life with kids. So something that I learned a long time ago that's really helped me to get a perspective and to just kind of relax about things. Oh, thank you. I'm glad it's helping. There's a verse in Proverbs that's, where no oxen are, the manger is clean. But much increase comes by the strength of the ox. Okay, so where no oxen are, the manger are clean. Basically, if you don't have kids, you're going to have a spotless, clean house if you put that effort into it. But one of the prices we pay for having kids is, what is the Metzger Nation? Metzger's our last name, and Nation, we're so big we call ourselves the Nation, so Metzger Nation. So basically, where there's no oxen, your manger is going to be clean. If you don't have any kids, you're going to have a clean house. But you know what? This is a season of life. It's something that we need to expect, that we need to enjoy, that we need to really just embrace, and we need to kind of relax about things and to just kind of let things go and enjoy life, enjoy the moment. So while it can be tempting, you know, to fret about things or to just throw your hands up in the air and just live in a pigsty all the time, it's really important to know, you know, what our true purpose is in raising our kids and not to get distracted. There is much increase, just like that verse says. So that speaks so much to me. It has really helped me to relax. I feel like I'm OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, because I love to clean. I love to have a clean and neat house, and I still do. but I've let a lot of things go that really just caused the family stress. It's okay, guys. You don't have to put that back on. You can just hold it. Yes, we're in a season. Yep, and one day there will be no children. There'll be no oxen in our stable, and our stable will be clean. But you know what? We're going to miss those little oxen. So enjoy the season that you're in, the calling that you have on your life, and just, really just relax. So anyway, that's pretty much all we were going to share today on chores and character building. But if you want to contact us, the Metzger Nation is the Facebook page where you can reach out to us, and I'd be glad to answer questions or just converse with you, encourage you, and hopefully you will be encouraged by the things we post on there. So I think that's it. Make sure you love the Kids Cast page, like that, and like Metzger Nation page. And also share this video if it has helped you at all. Maybe it'll help someone else as well. All right, you guys have a great day.